It's time for MacBreak Weekly, episode 176. This is our last chance to speculate on whatever Apple's announcing next week. So Andy, Alex, and I will tell you our predictions for the Apple tablet. I think we got it this time. Coming up on MacBreak Weekly.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for MacBreak Weekly is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is MacBreak Weekly, episode 176 for January 19th, 2010. Don't touch me there. MacBreak Weekly is brought to you by GoToMeeting, the affordable way to meet with clients and colleagues. For your free 30-day trial, visit GoToMeeting.com/MacBreak. And by Carbonite, the leader in online backup. Back up your PC or Mac off-site securely and automatically. For a free trial offer plus 2 free months with purchase, go to Carbonite.com. Offer code MacBreak. And by Audible.com. To download a free audiobook of your choice, go to audible.com/MacBreak. It's time for MacBreak Weekly, the show that covers all things Apple. Ladies and gentlemen, here with us on the show today, my good friend, Mr. Alex Lindsay at pixelcore.com, the great guild of multimedia artists, pixelcore.tv, the wonderful podcast.
Hello.
He is also going to be doing like 800 pieces at Macworld Expo.
We're going crazy. We're going to have at least 2 crews running around shooting videos of everything new.
So we're not going to,
right?
As a result, because he's doing it, we don't have to.
And we still have stuff coming out from CES. In fact, I think we're going to have stuff coming out from CES until, well, here's the thing is that we get so much
material.
Well, so much material. What happened? We started putting them out 4 or 5 at a time. And I got an email from CacheFly from Matt going, so we're pushing a gigabit a second. We'd really like to know what
Louise.
you're doing. You're like, you go, you can't really do that. And
really?
So that's why we slowed them down. So that we put them out 1 or 2 a day, to make sure that we don't cause any trouble.
I think we're all caught up on CES now. We didn't do as much as you did.
Yeah, I think we shot 25 episodes or 22 episodes. And it was mostly just me running around going, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool, that kind of thing. So
I love it. I mean, between the two of us, I think we're really starting to do some great coverage on this. Also here, by the way, Andy Ihnatko for the Chicago Sun-Times. Hello, Mr. I.
Guten Abend.
Huben Haben. Flaben and Daben. We're going to talk about the tablet in excessive speculative detail this week. Even though we'll know something about it next week. This is our last chance, really, to kind of make it up.
Yeah.
But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about my friends at Carbonite.com. Carbonite is backup done right, Mac and PC. If you're looking for a way to make sure that you don't lose those precious, pictures, the music, the financial documents, your emails, Carbonite is the solution. Now, everybody by now listening to the show knows you got to back up, right? I'm not saying anything you haven't heard before. The problem is, what if you back up and it's sitting right next to the computer and then there's an earthquake, a fire, a flood? You lose everything. It's not enough just to back up one copy locally. You got to back up another copy off-site, and that's what Carbonite is for. Carbonite, you install it. In fact, you go right now. You can try it for free for 2 weeks. Carbonite.com. Use the offer code TWIT. Once you install it, immediately starts backing up your data. Doesn't back up the operating system, nothing unnecessary, no applications, just the stuff you made. Immediately encrypts it, AES 256-bit encryption, uses SSL to upload it so you're private, but it gets it on those servers. Now, of course, how fast it does that depends on your bandwidth, how much data you have. But then once it gets everything backed up, it continues to back up in the background any changes so that you always have a perfect copy. And you can get it anytime. You just log onto your Carbonite account. There it is. Or you transfer your Carbonite account to another computer, move the files over. You accidentally delete something, just get that file. Or you can restore the whole set if you've lost it all. And best of all, unlimited backup for less than $5 a month. I want you to try it right now. Free. Go to Carbonite.com. Offer code. I got a new offer code for this. MacBreak. I was using the Twit offer code. Offer code MacBreak. Carbonite.com. If you use the offer code MacBreak for the free trial and then decide to buy, and again, less than $5 a month, they're going to give you 2 free months. But you got to use the offer code for the free trial to start. Carbonite.com. It's backup done right. Carbonite. So, Andy, your bet paid off. The Steve Everlasting has rewarded your faith. You are going, my friend. You got a golden ticket.
Well, no, I just realized it just means that instead of having 3 days in San Francisco with nothing to do and just nothing to do but finally see what that red thingy over the water thingy that you guys have there, the tourist thing, the Club Med thing that you built across the bay.
No idea what you're talking
and other
about.
tourist things, I'm going to have to actually do work.
You mean
So
Alcatraz?
really
Is that what you're talking about? Alcatraz?
First, now I'm going to have to realize that, oh, wait, I'm going to have to bring the jacket. I'm going to have to actually talk to people.
Oh,
well.
you wear a jacket at these events.
I need pockets. Unfortunately, I think that sometimes you have to keep monitoring like your standard. When you have when you're a nerd and your general attitude towards clothes is, this is the clothes I wear for this. This is the clothes I wear when I go out with dinner with friends. This is the clothes I wear when I'm out professionally. You can't really trust yourself, so you have to decide what you wear for what represents the difference between I'm here podcasting and maybe cooking some beans and rice. And then, oh, wait, no, I'm going to actually have to talk to people who might have to trust what I say. Okay, I'll wear the jacket.
So you're expecting to be on CNN. Actually, you are going to be on MacBreak Weekly. We're going to do... so first of all, first piece of news is January 27th. So there was some question about whether it was the 26th or the 27th.
It's the 27th.
So we now know it's 27th. The invitation is very artistic. It's a lot of splatters and splotches with an apple right there. And the tagline, come see our latest creation.
And already I've had people emailing me about what they think they see in the blotches.
Oh, the tea leaf readers are at it. So what do you see?
I think I see 2 of the Beatles in the blotches. I'm not sure if that's Ringo or Brian Epstein, but it's definitely something associated with Apple Core. Oh, dear.
Well, some people have said, oh, look at the paint. This means it's going to be a... in fact, didn't Clayton, what's his name from Fox? Clayton Morris said, I don't know if he has inside information or is speculating, says besides a tablet, which I think we're pretty clear that's what's going to be announced on Wednesday, there will be...
iPhone 4.0.
iPhone 4.0. That may be, although usually they do that in March. And an iLife 10, which could be, and that's what some people are seeing in these ink blots is, oh, see, it's creative.
Well, and I think it makes sense. I think one of the things that's missing when you look at creating some of the more interactive stuff, so the stuff for the LP, for the DVD extras, and so on and so forth, is something to author it in. Right now, you have to be pretty geeky to author that, and I think that there's a real explosion that's available if they make it a little easier. And things like DVD Studio Pro. And iDVD.
So you're saying build that into the...
iDVD and DVD Studio Pro should be developing applications for iTunes and for the Slate. That's what I think should happen. I think that making them for DVDs is a waste of time.
I disagree. Why put that in the Slate? You got a desktop. You're going to sell desktops.
No, don't put it in the Slate. It's in the desktop as a development platform.
Oh, I see.
For the Slate. I think that's what's missing.
So 2010, iLife 2010 will come out with additional tools for developing for the form factor that is the Slate.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think that is that.
Good.
Actually,
so they'll have a 10-inch project.
And I would say that blunts a lot of my upset about not being able to have more interactivity, because those tools would allow you to have a lot of video interactivity that's built around the Slate. I mean, it would just be very, very specific to the Slate. But I think that's Apple's way, is to build something that is very. But that development platform is a huge piece of what's missing. And I think that I think we might see it first in iDVD Studio. An iDVD. And then DVD Studio Pro. I think that they have to move those to interactive development, because developing DVDs no one cares about anymore.
Andy, what do you think the tea leaves of the ink splots tell us?
Well, the only thing that's significant that I would cull from that is the fact that it's singular. It says our latest creation. So I'd be surprised if it's certainly possible for a 2010 update. It's certainly a good idea for them to start showing off what they've got involved for iPhone 4.0. I think this is going to be one unnamed, unreleased, unannounced hitherto project that's going to have a center spotlight. Also, if you put this would be a great place for any Apple executive to say, "Oh, by the way, I stole about $800 million. I'll be paying back 40,000 of it." Anyway, onto the tablet, because you know that anything else
because your point is taken, which is anything besides the tablet is going to get buried.
We did find 9, maybe 19 bloody FedEx uniforms in a dumpster on the campus. They're missing. Oh, well.
But what about the tablet?
One of our guys did it, but it could have been any of those guys.
But what about the tablet? But what about the tablet?
Let's bring out Steve.
One more thing. No, I think you're right, Andy. There's no way anything besides the tablet gets coverage. I mean, it's a sidelight. Maybe they will say 2010, and we're going to put some. I could see them saying, "Oh, and by the way, we are going to provide you tools for creating for this platform because it is a new, unique platform." I don't see them doing an iPhone announcement of any kind unless it's somehow tied tightly to this.
Well, if the iSlate, and this is again something that Clayton Morris was talking about, is if the iSlate is really based on iPhone 4.0. So if the operating system is going to be an iPhone operating system, which I think makes sense, I think that's what they're going to do. Then we could definitely see 4.0 because they're probably going to release that, release an SDK, release all those other things, all at the same time.
That's WWDC. Will they have hardware at the event?
I doubt it.
Definitely.
You say definitely?
Definitely. I think it will be just along the lines of the iPhone event where there will be a working thing on stage that is very, very polished, very, very demoable. And I'm not sure. And they will have one or two that are in beautiful rotating clear cylinders.
But they won't have it for sale.
They definitely won't have it for sale now.
So we're in agreement really there. I think that's what you were saying.
That's what I meant.
Oh,
they're not going to. It's not going to be ready. It's going to be ready sometime in March.
March. Which is going to frustrate the hell out of me.
I think it's great. I think it makes a lot of sense for Apple to wait for 2 months because what I think they are going to do is they're going to release an SDK. They're going to let.
That's why I say you don't do that at this announcement. You just you for the next 2 months you own the news cycle. You can say every week you can say, and by the way, something new. Well,
and also I think that what happens is it ensures that you launch the slate with 10,000 apps.
Right.
There'll be 10,000 applications ready when you launch the slate, minimum.
They can't have seeded this at this point because we would see leaks.
Right.
So nobody has it
But they'll have a simulator. You can develop all the apps without ever touching it. That's what's going to happen. And I think that they're going to open it up with just more apps than anybody else opens up with. And so that's going to help increase the pressure of the usage.
So to let you know what we're going to do, next week, MacBreak Weekly, which normally records live Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll be recording the next day, obviously. We're not going to record a MacBreak Weekly on Tuesday.
Oh, come on.
And then, speculate idly as we are today. We will have some news. So we'll be recording MacBreak Weekly after the event. So here's what's going to happen. We will cover this live and obsessively because we know that you want to know every detail repeated over and over and over again. So we will start early in the morning before the event. Andy, I hope you will show up early. I plan to spend the night in town so that I can be there, 7 or 8 a.m. We have to register at 9 a.m.
I think I'm going to spend the night in Petaluma so I can be here.
Alex will be anchoring. You should spend the night in Petaluma. You can sleep under my desk if you want because Alex will be here.
I think I know someone that's like a couple blocks away, so I'm just going to...
Okay, like your son. You're going to stay with your son and daughter.
Yeah,
Malachi and Isabel will be very happy to have Dad staying with them. They'll say, "Who is this guy? We've only seen him occasionally. Mommy, who is that?" "Oh, that's your father."
Who's that guy kissing mommy? He doesn't have a UPS uniform on.
He
doesn't look like a sailor. Hey, let's bring out your headliners.
Hello. I didn't know we had Rodney Dangerfield on the show today. So Alex will be anchoring here with some additional guests. We're not sure who. We've invited some lovely ladies to keep you company. And
I'm sure my wife will be.
Yeah. And Andy and I will be the working stiffs. I'm not missing this one. I'm sorry. Yeah. I got the invitation. I'm not missing this one. So we will be in, and Daisy Whitney got in too, I understand. Yeah. So she will be there. We will, of course, have people like Jason Snell, David Polk, all the regulars. So what we'll do is we'll start our coverage 8 or 9 a.m. Pacific, let's say noon Eastern, and we will continue through to the end of the day. We'll probably go to like 8 or 9 that night. And so if you want to know what's going on, I promise you this will be the place to come, live.twit.tv, and then we will make a MacBreak Weekly out of it that summarizes all the most useful information that we've gleaned.
This is like our version of the Golden Globes.
Oh, bigger than that, Andy. This is
there's almost gonna be a red carpet, and it's tech columnist Walt Mossberg. What are you wearing today? And a striking backless number.
What are you wearing? I think it's our shock and awe. Are you kidding? I think this is
going to be big.
This is probably our biggest story of the year, I would guess.
Yeah, and I think that we're really well positioned to cover it really well.
So we're in town for one thing, so we're very close.
But I think that this is going to be a big. It's silly to just call it a big event. I think its importance for Apple is unprecedented because I can't think of any other time when they've had a highly anticipated product announcement where they are expected to simply revolutionize everything. Even the iPhone announcement, which had exactly the same amount of hype, I think almost exactly the same amount of people knowing that something's going to happen in January, but we don't know what it's going to be like. It was more like Apple's doing a phone. It could be great. Now, this is the first product they've come out with when they are the dominant leader in so many different markets, and they're acknowledged that this has to be a really great thing. I'm wondering if they can possibly do a device that will live up to everybody's expectations of what it's going to have to be.
I think I'm going to argue that it doesn't have to do that much to live up to everybody's expectations. I mean, to be successful. I don't think that
be successful, but
a big iPhone is. I think that's what they're
I'm willing to go out on a limb right now. Everybody's making predictions. We're starting to see stories. We started yesterday to see stories that are going to confirm what I believe to be the case. We saw 2 stories yesterday. HarperCollins leaked that it had been in negotiations for content with Apple. That's the big book publisher. They're probably just one of many. New York Times has been saying we're going behind a paywall soon. And I think they're in negotiations. That's been a rumor for some time. I think it's very clear now what we have. We have a multimedia content device that will do TV. It will do movies. It will do music. It will do reading. It's a Kindle, aimed at the Kindle. It'll do it in full color with an OLED screen because I'll tell you what, once you go OLED, you never go back. And here's I think the key to all of this is going to have Kindle style built-in wireless. We've been chewing around this problem of how do you get somebody to buy another $60 EVDO or 3G connection? You don't. You build it into the content. That's what makes it. That's why it's important to be a content machine, just as Amazon does. It's going to have Amazon-like WhisperNet, always on internet. I think it's 10 inches. I don't think it has a keyboard. I think it focuses on media. It may have some computer-like applications, but I think this is a media device.
And I think
that's an interesting way to pay for the wireless. I've thought for a while that we might be moving to a place where 100 megabytes of text is going to be something you just get free with devices because pushing text is practically nothing. But if you simply put in a new structure that says that if you purchase a movie, it will be transmitted if you purchase something that's a large digital file and you get it over 3G or 4G, more likely. Part of the purchase price is the 7 cents that AT&T or Verizon is going to want for the cost of transmitting it. So you won't have to pay month for month a internet access fee, but part of that cost is going to be built into everything that you buy.
Exactly. Now, putting an OLED screen in there, which I think is desirable, and there may be, we heard last week that they were cornering the market on both LCD and OLED, so there may be a $1,000 OLED version and a $700 LCD version. I think the price OLED's going to make it very expensive.
I think the price ranges between $599 and $799. I think that a $1,000 one is getting a little rich.
It becomes a whole different thing at $1,000.
All right, $899. But you can subsidize this now because it's content. The whole key to this is Apple's going to make money on the content. It's going to make a slice of every transaction, and it's a content device.
And every application. I mean, I think that's the thing that's interesting is that when there's going to be a big app store. That's proven to be successful. There was a report I think that I put in MacBreak MBW ideas that Apple I think has 94% of the application the smartphone application market right now. Or 99%. I mean, it's like an incredible percentage of that, and I think they're going to continue to do that. And of course, they're getting 30% of every order. And you know what? There's not a lot of piracy unless people are cracking the phone, which is just such a crazy small version.
Yeah. No.
If you're not, there's just the apps aren't expensive.
That's
enough.
why the movie industry loves it. That's why
the application. I mean, the thing
that's
is,
why the TV industry loves it.
Yeah.
I think this is a very hot product. There's no piracy because there's no ports. There's no analog hole because it's not going anywhere. Maybe like the Zune HD, it has a 720p.
And it's
got to be a 720p though, right?
I think it does. I think it has to be 720p. If you're going to make it a reader, I think that resolution is the right.
I think the key, one of the reasons the Kindle succeeds, and I think you agree with me on this, Andy, is you never have to connect it to a computer. And I think this device will be exactly the same. I don't think it's going to have this. You got to dock it and sync it with iTunes BS.
You can.
No, I think you definitely will be able to. I would be very.
You'll be able to, but I don't think you'll have to.
I don't think you have, right, exactly. I think it'll work as a computer in and of itself, getting purchases through online stores, be it the iTunes store, be it the Kindle store, et cetera. But also with the idea that if you're going to work with your own documents, you're going to get them through a cloud. But it'll definitely be dockable in some fashion.
Now, let me give you dissenting points of view. Dr. Mom in our chat room says that the head of surgery at UCSD has been briefed on a new Apple device, and we saw a story that the Cedars-Sinai Hospital had also seen a new Apple device, medical applications. So maybe there's some vertical on this. I mean, that's where tablet's been very successful.
That's the whole point about this. I think that the key to this device is not that they're going to give us a media player, but they're going to give us a sheet of electronics this big with a battery in it, all kinds of connectivity, and a really good screen, so that from this point onward, any company that wants to make a device that would ordinarily be OEM'd inside this sort of a screen, they don't have to worry about selling their hardware. Let's just build this for the Mac.
Well, and I think this
for the tablet.
So that's
going to be medical devices. It's
that's interesting because it's hard to.
I was thinking just the other day about musical controllers.
Yep.
That you'll see these on stage everywhere. You'll even see like performance devices that are based on this thing.
Gaming.
Well, and I think the thing is this becomes.
Someone mentioned that last week. That this could be the most awesome gaming device ever. I can't believe I didn't even think about that. But yeah.
And in fact, we're just seeing at MacRumors.com that IGN and Kotaku have received invitations. These are big gaming publications to Apple's event. So there is probably some gaming component to this. They wouldn't invite the gaming media if there weren't.
Well, I think that one of the hardest things to do when you build an application is designing the interface. It is that that is the thing that makes it work or not work. It's easy to think of the code. It's easy to think about how it's going to work, so on and so forth. But making sure that a user can do it, and that's the one thing that Apple does better than anyone else, is design that interface. And the thing that
here's a problem,
but here's the thing that I think is important here is that I think that this becomes an interface to. This and the iPhone become an interface to everything.
I agree. But you have a marketing issue because now you have a very diverse product line. It's a lot easier to say it's a media device than to say it's an everything device, which leads me to think that they're going to market it as a new kind of computer. In other words, if you market it as an iPhone or a media device, you have to have a very laser-like product focus, I think, to make that work. But if you say, well, remember the personal computer? I think, in fact, I can almost see Steve Jobs saying this. We created
this is really the personal computer.
We created the personal computer. We're
recreating it.
We are recreating it now for a new era. This is the new personal computer. I think that way you can market it because you can say, and we've got these niches.
That's how you sell this for $600, $700. I guarantee you that the opening thing from Steve is going to be we are a company of revolutions. We started our first revolution in 1976 with the Apple II. Our second revolution on this very week in 1984 with the Macintosh. The third, and we're going to see things rotating on the screen. And now we have our fourth revolution. Yeah, that's how they do it.
That, by the way, is how they do $9.99 because they have a $7.99, they have an $8.99, and the one you want is $9.99.
Which one will you get?
Well, which one will you get? Which one will? Of course, you're going to get the. But the headline is $7.99. Starts at
$7.99, and of course, I go in with good intentions. This has been the case for the last 10 years.
Like the iPod starts at $129. You don't buy it.
I always go in. I went in one time to buy like the 30 gig, classic iPod or whatever, and I walked out with the biggest one I could find. I was like, if I'm going to buy one.
But if you're marketing it as a multi-purpose, as the next generation of computers, you can do it that way. In fact, where you go to the store.apple.com and you see the iMacs and the $12.99, the $17.99, the $19.99. That's what you see. Right. It's not an iPhone in that respect. It's a new product line.
Well, it's a new product line, but there are two important reasons why I think they have to come up with just one model. Number one, they can't have the market choose which one is the quote real unquote version of this. And so if they just come up with one model and they've aggressively tried to make it as affordable as possible, that's definitely in Apple's best interest. The second thing is it's hard to think about the ways that they could make the price vary from one price point to another. They can definitely add and subtract storage. But if they create two sizes of screens, then immediately they balkanize one of these two devices. They can't simply delete, well, this one doesn't come with wireless, this one doesn't come with this interface, this one doesn't come with this hardware package, because once again, you're letting the marketplace define what makes this device. I really think they're going to just come out with one. Next year, you're going to have the ability to choose to either give them $1,000 of your money or $8,000 of your money for the one that's made out of genuine, God's eyebrow Lint. But other than that, I think that we're going to see just one now.
You agree?
I think it's one. I think it's one. I think the only thing that distinguishes them is possibly the screen and the size of the storage. I think it's a 32 and a 64. I think that there could be an OLED screen and an LCD. I think those would be the things that would
same size, same software. Just
absolutely
it has identical. To be. You have to have identical form factor.
I think it's identical. Everything is identical about it, except for the fact that you have one that is $799 or $699 or something that has an LCD screen and it's 32 gigs, and then you have an OLED with 64 gigs for $999.
We've talked a lot about Android and the operating system and how I like it. And one of I think the biggest, strongest argument against Android is that they have multiple hardware form factors, which makes it very. This killed Windows Mobile. It killed the BlackBerry. You had to go into the store and say, well, which one do I have? Does it work with this one? And so Apple's smart enough not to do that.
And I also think that you're going to see with the iPhone software, with the new 4.0, that developers can develop specifically for the iSlate, but they can also develop applications that will scale so that it'll work on. You can have two different interfaces for the same functionality. So you'll be able to buy an app that if you buy it for the iPhone, it's going to work a certain way. If you buy it for the Slate, it'll scale up and make it work another way.
Yeah. Any other insights into what this
front-facing? I think it's going to have a front-facing camera.
Yeah, you really like that for two reasons. One, so you can make Skype calls, but the other, so that you can do gestures.
I really think. I think. I don't think so.
I just don't see it.
I think it's about. I think it's Skype. I think it's this communication device.
Yeah, I don't think Apple likes that.
But I kind of have a big problem with that, and I'll show you why. Because, and once again, I'll use my super top secret iSlate prototype here to demonstrate with. Here's your Slate. Here's your Slate, and you've got your camera right about here. That means that when you're using it, you're going to have to hold it exactly like this. And this is a heavy object you're going to have to hold, not only just like upright, but also angled towards you so that the camera is aimed where you want it to go. I'm not sure that Apple is going to decide that they found a really good solution to that.
Well, I
don't know if Apple is that persnickety about it, but that's the only thing that worries me about the idea.
I think there's a camera on both sides, and I think that when you're using that front-facing camera, you're going to have it, sitting somewhere. You're not going to be holding it. I think you're going to. If Apple doesn't build one, a lot of people are going to build stands.
Remember, though, the point here is reducing complexity. And this is why we don't like too many SKUs. It's why we don't like too many form factors. I think having another camera in there I don't see the advantage to it to the mass audience. We'll see. I understand what you're saying.
I just think there's so many people.
You and I would love it.
There's so many people who are traveling that want to have face-to-face conversations with their kids, with their, we're looking at so much stuff with either GoToMeeting or with Skype or whatever. Well, so now that begs the question, is this a laptop replacement? Because you do that with a laptop. Is this a laptop replacement? I think for the consumer, I think yes.
That's what it's intended to be.
Yeah.
I think it's a laptop alternative. I think it'll force a lot of people to ask themselves what they really need in a large mobile device, and they'll balk at it for the first year, but they'll see enough of them in play, and they'll see enough of them in a conference room. The first time they'll be skeptical until the first time they see someone who uses it and loves it, and they're in a conference room and they see how differently they're using it from the way that the others are using their notebooks. I think that's what's going to break it.
Boy Genius Report says it's going to be the iTablet. BGR is pretty accurate. They've been good with the rumors. They also have iPhone 4.0 features, they say, according to our guy. Which means it's almost
women that talk to these guys.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say it's almost certainly a woman. Apple, if you're trying to track them down. There will be multi-touch gestures OS-wide. Isn't it already? I guess not. I guess it's per application. Because you can't multi-touch the desktop.
Right.
I don't know why you'd want to. Quote, a few new ways, end quote, to run applications in the background. I don't see multitasking. I think multitasking is a double-edged sword. I think it's one of the things that adds complexity to Android. Geeks want it, but I don't think...
I think you forget that it's running in the background and burns your battery into the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Many graphical and UI changes to make navigating through the OS easier and more efficient. That's just polish. I can imagine any update would have those. Mm-hmm. The update will supposedly be available, and again, rumor, ding, 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 will be available only for the iPhone 3G and GS, but will put them ahead in the smartphone market, quote, because it will make them more like full-fledged computers. Quote, everyone is really excited. Oh, yeah, right. The last piece of information is the most vague, according to Boy Genius Report. But apparently there will be some brand new syncing ability for the contacts and calendar applications. Okay, so, all of that you could have made up.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what you would expect. Not knocked out on that one. But I report it because it's there, because I see it.
We report, you ignore.
You ignore. Yes, exactly. Exactly. By the way, Blags of Matt at matt.io has the Apple 2010 January event keynote leak. The first rumor from the future. He says, I have spent the last month in isolation meditating on the device who comes from Apple.
He's meditating?
Meditating. Based on sensory deprivation-induced hallucinations and stalking Apple coworkers, I've come...
And lots and lots of pot.
And lots of pot. I've come up with this outline for the device who comes. Summary, the device will not be called iSlate. It will not be prefixed with an I. It will use a Natal-like control interface, thereby pissing off Microsoft, which is, of course, one of the many things that motivates Mr. Jobs. I think that might not be so far-fetched. That's that gesture-based interface we were talking about.
Yeah.
13-inch, 300 PPI. Oh, PPI is important, isn't it? 720p is important, but PPI is also important.
300 PPI would be incredibly dense.
That's awful. That's not going to happen. You couldn't read the icons would have to be, 400 by 400 to even see them. Well,
but it would be
that big. 150 by 150.
It would look like a print magazine at that point. I have a hard time believing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it would. A high-end print magazine is about 300 PPI.
Right.
That's like an art magazine.
Yeah, that's a laser printer.
And 13 inches seems really big.
Giant phone mode.
I'm here.
For App Store apps and full OS 10 mode. What about that? Dual operating systems? No.
I don't think so. No.
Okay, I'm throwing this out. Wireless partner Verizon, initial content partners New York Times and Condé Nast.
I could definitely see Apple moving away from AT&T. There's no reason Apple would give AT&T access to this market. After the
Would they give it to Verizon?
I think that Verizon's the best network.
Wouldn't Verizon be jumping up and
Although
down?
I have to admit, I had to deal with some stuff with my MiFi. And dealing with customer service at Verizon, I don't feel bad about having AT&T anymore. I don't care how bad the service is.
You know what? Anybody who thinks one's better than the other is not paying attention.
It was the most insanely bad experience.
There's nobody good. What happens is occasionally you get a good interaction with a CSR on a wireless company, and you go, wow, things have really improved. Then you call them back. And it
wasn't an individual. It was the way that they managed the way it's managed. Like you can't give your credit card number to the person. You have to dial it in.
Yes.
And it's like, well, we're sending you text messages. I was like, you're sending text messages to my MiFi. It was like and how am I supposed to read
seen
those?
As a phone. It's seen as a phone.
I know it's seen as a phone, but it's like I was like, how am I supposed to? What am I supposed to do with that? So anyway.
Mine almost got turned off because I also have Verizon in the house for broadband, and they told me, oh no, we can put it all on your same bill, and of course they gave me a second account, and so I'm like, I'm doing everything electronically, like, geez, I'm like, you're the same company, look, the logo's the same and everything.
Anything else we want to say about this? I don't like iSlate. Maybe not maybe no I. I's old. We got something new. We've got, I think the moniker makers, there's a whole department of moniker makers at Apple. I think they're going to come up with a
I just don't care.
whole new initial.
Our programmers are sitting there just waiting. Like it's like we're just all waiting at the gate.
What's the first application you would write?
We're really focusing on tools for the film industry.
Tools.
So that's all it's just tools that we need. Tools that we need on set. Tools that we, that kind of thing. It really changes what we can do in that area. So that's what we're going to be focusing on.
Yeah, that's the week after that when everybody who was planning on either was talking to Apple before or was waiting to see what they were going to do after Apple makes their announcement. That's going to be one of the most press release and press event loaded weeks that in media you will see for the past 3 or 4 or 5 months. The people I talk to are all off about, we have an initiative, we would like to talk to you about it after Apple makes their announcement. And I know that it's not because they've been having very private discussions. It's because they know what they want to do, but they want to make sure that whatever it is, it'll work great with whatever Apple does.
Great article from The Week, which is my favorite magazine, by the way. I love this magazine. Apple tablet rumors, a comprehensive timeline. The first rumor, September 2002, When a reporter from the International Herald Tribune asks Steve Jobs if Apple plans to make a tablet, Jobs blurts out, "Do you want to handwrite all your email? We have all the technology. We just don't know whether it'll be successful." January 2003, eWeek reports Apple plans to introduce a device that superficially resembles a large iPod with an 8-inch diagonal screen before the end of 2003. Also in January 2003, CNET says Apple has all the pieces in place to deliver a tablet computer at Macworld 2003, including Inkwell. Remember that from the Newton? Mm-hmm. April of the same year, Digitimes. This is the same, Taiwanese electronic rumor mill that, we've been hearing the 10-inch OLEDs from. Digitimes says Apple plans to start shipping a 15-inch tablet PC-like device with a detachable keyboard in 2004. Cringely says the Apple tablet will let a user watch TV in his bathroom, 2003. All of these aren't far off. They're just date-wise far off. UK Tech Reporter in 2004 discovers Apple has filed for a European trademark protection of an iBook screen minus the body of the computer. 2005, Apple tablet rumors that it will be powered by Intel. 2006, Apple files a patent for a new variety of accelerometer. Hypothesis then that many blogs hypothesized that would be a tablet. Ended up being, of course, the iPhone. November 2006, tech blogs say Apple has a full working prototype of the tablet with plans for 2007 launch. 2007, fall of that year. Apple Insider calls the increasingly tardy Apple tablet the return of the Newton, modernized with high-resolution screen 1.5 times larger than that of an iPhone. CNET in 2007 says Asus is helping Apple build a tablet PC. December 2007, a financial website called Seeking Alpha says, it's going to be 5.2 inches. And you'll be able to touch it in 6 to 8 months. Nope. Apple executives in July.
Got to put a ring on that finger before they let you touch it.
You can't touch it. Don't touch me there. I love this one. In 2008, July, on a conference call, Apple executives mentioned they're very excited about a new product line. December 2008, TechCrunch talks about independent sources, a large iPod Touch device, the fall of 2009. They weren't too far off. Finally, the rumors that really got this all started, April 2009, April of last year, when the Journal said that Jobs is overseeing the production of a portable device smaller than a laptop but bigger than an iPhone or iPod Touch. May of last year, Silicon Alley Insider talks of an alleged MediaPad device more robust than the iPhone. July, TheStreet.com says Verizon Wireless will sell an Apple tablet with a 9 to 10-inch screen. August, Gizmodo alleges Apple will produce 13 and 15-inch versions as well as the 10-inch model. It's fun to hold these rumor sites to account after the fact, because some of these sound pretty good and some of them it's like, wow.
There are times I'm just so grateful that what we say is not transcribed.
None of this is written down.
Easily Google. So I think it will have a hover mode. I think you'll be able to ride it like Michael J. Fox's skateboard in Back to the Future.
Hey, I'd buy that.
Hey, call me on that if it's not true 3 years from now.
In the fall of this last year, October, the Times quoted an Apple engineer, Joshua Strickland, saying the Apple tablet has been in progress since 2003. So all of these are true. New York Times, this is the big one, October 2009. Bill Keller, editor at New York Times, says the Times is preparing to exploit new technologies such as, quote, the impending Apple slate. But we don't know if he knew or just was, reacting to rumors. In January, now we're here in our month, Journal says the Apple tablet will ship in March, cost $1,000. France Telecom and Orange executive Stéphane Richard confirms in a radio interview Apple will be launching its tablet device later in January, steps back later saying he's just acknowledging speculation and my wish to support it if it would. And of course, now we're in the present, Gawker offering $20,000 to anyone who could provide it with photos of the tablet. Nobody's taking it up so far. $100,000 to anyone who'll let them play with it for an hour. So there you go. Those are the rumors. You know, in hindsight, this has been building exactly as it has gone since 2003. This is not, this is what's going on.
I think it's going to have a green laser. It goes for miles.
Just for Woz.
Yeah.
Woz is going to demand. He's going to say, okay, you want me to say nice things about it and not say I'm using a Nexus 1? Just put a green laser in it.
It's going to be able to draw pictures a mile away. You just put it on a little stand. I'm putting that rumor out right now. It's kind of a yellow submarine rumor.
I have one prediction that I'm sad to say will absolutely come true. No matter how great it is, no matter how much it costs, the first time that I have it next to me on the bed or on a nightstand or something, I need a place to put my drink, I'm going to put my drink down on top of the screen. Because it's a flat open surface where a drink can be put, and this is the office of a geek. So I think that'll be the first test.
I think you'll be fine because I don't think that OLED screens do.
I did hear that one of the rumors that I heard was that one of the big delays in the screen. I mean, that this has been working pretty well for a year and a half, and one of the big problems has been the screen. Getting the screen to not break.
I'm telling you, that's hard. That's
getting it
glass.
And it's easy to make something that's durable at the iPhone size, but what I've been told is that once you get bigger than that the strength across the surface, if you want to make something thin and easy to use,
you got to temper it.
Becomes very, very difficult, and that's that has been one of the chief.
So
concerns.
we're in agreement. It'll be called the iCoaster then, right?
I think there's probably going to be an app for that tells you where to put your cup. You put your cup here. Put your sugar here.
That is one thing that Microsoft always shows off when they're showing off the Surface is you can put stuff on the Surface and it goes, "Ooh, I see that," and responds to it. It says, "Would you like ice?" All right, we're going to come back in just a second with more fruitless speculation about the future of the iSlate tablet pad. But first, I want to remind you that the next time Steve Jobs has a meeting, he might just use GoToMeeting instead. Think of all the time and effort and money and travel costs Steve is putting into this event. Yeah, sometimes you need to meet with clients and colleagues in person, but I bet you a lot of that time they're using GoToMeeting because GoToMeeting works with Mac.
We're moving actually very heavily to GoToMeeting.
Saves you a lot of money
for a lot of our stuff this year and within the Pixel
solution.
Core. Yeah,
we use it all the time. It's the affordable way to meet with clients and colleagues instead of a $1,000 bill on your expense report. $49 a month for unlimited meetings, as many as you want, as long as you want. It also includes voice over IP and telephone conferencing. Award-winning, best, many awards for best meeting software. And if you've used it, you'll see why. It's easy to set up, easy to use, and that's important. You don't want to make your clients jump through hoops when you're having an online meeting. All you got to do is you say, hey, look, I want to show you this keynote presentation. Go to GoToMeeting.com. By the way, it doesn't matter if they're using Mac or Windows. I think they can even use Linux. Go to GoToMeeting.com. Press the Join a Meeting button. Here's the meeting ID. Now they're seeing your screen on their desktop. You're meeting. It's engaging for sales presentations. You'll sell more. You'll close more deals. Product demos. Training even. Go to GoToMeeting.com/MacBreak. You could try it free for 30 days. Oh, you thought I was going to make you pay? No. Free. Just try it free for 30 days and then tell me what you think. GoToMeeting.com/MacBreak. We thank the folks at Citrix for supporting MacBreak Weekly. I love that timeline. It just really kind of underscores how long we've been talking about this thing. It feels like we've been talking about it for 7 years.
It does.
And we have.
And I think one thing that Apple is really good at is they pick the right time to do it.
What do you mean?
Well, the thing is that a lot of the technologies that make this work, a lot of why we're excited about it is after the Kindle, and we've seen what it does, after doing movie distribution, after the right kind of screens and the processor speed. And doing a screen at the resolution that we think it's going to be at, 960 by 540 or 1280 by 720, was very expensive a year ago and is much less expensive now. And so I think a lot of this stuff is all these pieces have to work.
They're
good
at
waiting for that.
They were, ahead of the game, and they were there, and you could continue to develop the technology as you wait for the hardware to catch up.
Right. Yeah. Because I think that's what they did with the iPhone. I held on to my little Trio for a year, knowing that it's coming,
right.
And and you could hear all.
Oh, you remember Scott Bourne just drooling for a year over that,
and then it showed up and.
According to Mac Rumors, article published this morning, a lot has been said about the rumored Apple tablet, but after evidence was discovered that Apple was interested in the name iSlate, many have adopted that as the most likely name for Apple's new device. In fact, at CES, we saw 100 slates. Oh, that's the name of it. New evidence has revealed that Apple may in fact be positioning iPad as the name for the imminent tablet device.
And the big one will be the MaxiPad.
Doesn't that sound like a feminine hygiene product?
I was going to say the big one will be the MaxiPad.
Yeah, I don't. The iPad. So here's their evidence. A search of the Canadian trademark database reveals that Apple's dummy corporation Slate Computing LLC also applied for the trademark iPad in July 2009, much more recently than the Slate trademark. Remember, though, that iPad is owned in the U.S. by Fujitsu. They say very similar trademark applications for iPad were filed in Europe and Hong Kong in July. They'd have to buy it from Fujitsu because Fujitsu has a trademark here.
Yeah.
I think that's what changes it. That's what makes it so difficult to even pick something, guess at something so silly. Only because no matter what name they want, if Steve decides that no, it has to be the iTablet, doesn't matter who has it, they're going to get that trademark.
Here's based on a source who claims to have knowledge of Apple's plan. I love this. We found that this unknown company has been active again in the past week with new iPad trademark applications in New Zealand and Australia. Here's one from Trinidad and Tobago. The iPad registered January 15th to a company called IP Application Development LLC of Wilmington, Delaware. Its initials, IPAD. I don't.
What does
like
it read
iPad.
when you put it into a mirror?
I'm gonna go.
When you transcribe it onto the rabbit card.
We should have like you know how they do in the football thing. We should have a
pool.
Yeah.
A matrix.
Yeah, it would have to be a cube. What's the name going to be? What's the price going to be? And when? What's the third grid bid be? Name and price would be the two axes on a 2-dimensional betting grid.
Yeah. I'm gonna say. See, I don't think it's gonna have I in it at all anywhere.
I think they're kind of moving past that.
I don't want to be
I think that's the.
How about my
pad?
My pad. My pad or yours? My bad. I mean, my pad. No, pad's bad.
My slate.
Bad pad.
Yeah.
Pad
Well,
bad.
They might even just say we're gonna just like Windows took a common word and made it dual purpose. We're gonna take a common word and saying now when you say tablet, you pretty much mean the Apple.
My touch. How about my touch?
Go ahead.
Isn't there something else already doing that? Isn't there another?
This is the one area in which there is nothing but speculation.
It's kind of if they're smart, they're going to do something just completely nobody's ever done before or thought of. Why not? Look, it's not like we're running out of words in the English language.
Well, we are because we're registering everything as a domain.
Maybe
so we
are.
have to keep coming up with new things.
Buck says I speculate.
Exactly. I have no idea, and I don't think anybody else has any idea either. That didn't keep me from doing a who is on certain URLs just to see somebody owned that. And
how about this one? Xenophrenia in our chat room says Apple Canvas. What about Canvas?
Yeah, Canvas was another big one.
That's
another one. That was another one where a lot of people are making a speculation based on that invitation art. It's a good name because it would communicate that this is not the device. You don't buy it for the device itself. You're buying it because of the things that you can see and create through the device.
Right.
But it's fun. It's fun to play the game.
Loving it. John Gruber of the Daily Daring Fireball links to this video called Apple iPad. Rated 14 for language. Where's the audio? Oh, it's from Mad TV. Darn it, there's no audio. Am I doing something wrong? So he's kind of on an audio podcast, not having audio. Oh, I think my...
Visual cues.
Just imagine, if you will. Well, just, go to daringfireball.net and you can see and probably hear it. It's on YouTube. It's apparently a Mad TV spoof about the... Oh, dear. I'm glad we didn't hold on that for very long. Never mind.
And then the plumber arrives.
Let me put it this way: the cord's going up her skirt, so we're gonna leave it at that. Thank you, John Gruber. Yeah. Let's see what else. Anything else to say about this? I mean, we've loaded up the speculation. All I can say is, thank God, the next episode we'll know.
We don't have to do this again.
We don't have to do this again till next time.
I'm just disappointed that you told everybody that we're going to be recording live on Wednesday, because if we stuck with the story that we're doing it at a normal time on Tuesday and then put it out without anybody telling anybody that it was live on Wednesday,
we'd sound
be saying
prescient.
things like, "Well, I have a good feeling about Pez. We're going to call it it's going to be called the Pez. I just blue skying. I just made a lot of different phone calls to a lot of different people. No one told us." Makes sense.
That's actually quite brilliant. We've all seen by now the 1987 Apple Knowledge Navigator video, right? Do you remember that?
I don't know if I.
Oh gosh, I got to play. If I can find this, I got to play this for you, because this I've known this for quite some time. I don't have any audio on this machine. Why?
But isn't that a classic demonstration of what everybody always thought a futuristic computer would be like?
Right.
It always involves voice input, and it always involves a computer that talks back to you. And nobody has, no user has ever communicated that that's a way that they really, really want to interact with a computer.
Let's see if I can get audio, because I'd really like to.
I think it is cool that even back then the futuristic knowledge navigator was one big sheet of screen, as opposed to lots of big mechanical interface things. I remember in 1982.
It looks like a tablet.
Speculation has always been part of the Apple experience. I remember in 1981, 1982, there was the Soft Talk magazine, or somebody was speculating about what the Apple IV would look like. Or maybe the Apple 7. They're being, well, what will Apple do in the far future? And I remember looking at this, and their big idea was that on the extended keyboard, it wouldn't simply have directional arrows; it would also have arrows for diagonals too on the keyboard.
Yeah, that's bad. No,
that's innovative.
Innovative, and turned out unnecessary.
Yeah,
it's hard to predict. So this one had a little HAL 9000 guy in a bow tie who was a computer gen. Well, there's audio. Computer generated character, and he knew, he would take your calls, he'd talk to you, natural speech, very realistic. That's the hard thing to do, is make this, this avatar in there be real. I don't think, but in many other ways, it was very similar. The guy was doing pinch.
Again, I think a lot of the technology, this is a lot of technology that Apple's been sitting on for a long time. They've worked out a lot of this technology, speech recognition,
right.
Handwriting recognition.
Right.
And I think that, like, for instance, when you're talking about the medical device, I think that the handwriting recognition, although I don't know how you'd get a doctor's handwriting, but the point is that, like, being able to check stuff off, I mean, I think that's where you look at a computer that's going to be doing lots of this stuff is going to be connected to that.
I got to point out that Windows Mobile and tablet devices from Microsoft are very widely used in hospitals already. I mean,
right. And they're big and bulky and not stable.
Yeah, no, that's a real natural application for those.
Yeah. But as I think the application is really the interfacing with everything. Why build an interface when Apple will give you core animation and all the other things that you need to make it look great and make it work well, and everyone's got one, and and I think I think that you get into, at some point in time, when you see how Apple keeps on turning this over, I do think that Apple starts looking at antitrust issues.
Why?
Well, because I think that what they're doing is they're leveraging one thing to dominate another.
Right.
And I'm saying
the content chain.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at part of what makes this work is that they have this huge pipeline for iTunes, and they're controlling that, and so the thing is that the application, it's going to get to a point where no one can crack it.
I can tell you one thing that it will not have. I promise you, 3D. There will be no 3D. I decree it.
I don't be monomolecular.
Yes.
I actually disagree with you on
that. Will destroy
it. Crap.
There's no reason not to put 3D in there. There's no reason why you couldn't anyway.
They will. No, they will.
Because it's just the way that you refresh the screen. So
it will come with glasses.
Just thinking, nice Apple glasses, 3D glasses. You hold it up like this, and it's in 3D. It's in 3D with surrounded by 3D.
If Steve Jobs comes on stage wearing glasses and says, "We have found out the real user interface you all need is 3D," I'm gonna get up and leave. I'm gonna walk out.
Well, no, I agree with that, but 3D will definitely be something that third parties are going to do, especially given that there'll be so many opportunities for gaming and it'll be such a good screen. Something that I've sort of gotten a little bit turned around on. I'm trying to figure out how precise the touch areas are going to be. Like, how small a point do you think that it'll be able to resolve? Because I know that it will not be a pen-based computer, but at that size and given the market they're trying to sell to, it would not be silly for them to want to have a device that could be used by artists and architects and people who are taking visual notes to draw directly on the screen. We already see that you can buy these little like cigarette-like devices that just give you the capacitance so that the end of the stylus can be used as a finger. I'm sort of wondering if we'll see like an implement kind of like, on the same sort of thing where
Pogo makes one,
artists can hold something that's a very, very precise tip. So if they want to like do a really good sketch or even just sign a document to forward it over, that they'll be able to do that.
Well, I think that Pogo already makes stuff there. I think Apple doesn't need to do anything for a third party to develop a sketch thing, and I do agree with you that I think that the sketch is being able to sketch on it would be at a resolution that high.
That would be awesome.
What I'm interested in finding out, though, is that when you talk about the limitations of the touchscreen, will it be like, unfortunately, it's only designed to deal with fingertips, so the size of your pen has to be this wide instead of this wide. So I'm wondering...
Let's do that again, because we missed that I was slow on the uptake.
I meant that the touch interface, the touch hardware was designed to resolve fingertips, not the tips of styluses.
Right. Well, in fact, that's one of the things that Apple had to solve in their Apple Store.
Largest. There you are.
Yeah.
So if that's like the largest size area, that's
the size of a piece of chalk or something. Yeah.
You're drawing with chalk instead of pens.
Right. That was what they had to solve in their point of sale thing in the iTouch, and they give you've seen that little weird musket loading thing that they give you to sign. It's got a little capacitive brush at the end of it. Right. It's very weird to sign with it too. It's like signing with a Q-tip.
It was nice to see that Apple had finally moved to their own point of sale.
Let me see if I can get. I've rebooted. I've done everything. Let me see if I can now get audio, because I really want to play this Knowledge Navigator, because I think there are people who haven't seen it. I mean, you can always you can Google it and find it in about 3 seconds, but it's my job to play the obvious, right?
As purveyor of the media.
As purveyor of the obvious. Funny thing is, people in the chat room, I guess, think I don't have access to the Google because they keep sending me the link.
Well, the studio is still on dial-up.
Yeah, one of these days we're going to have...
Or at least hijack the Wi-Fi from the Starbucks across the street.
If you hear some silly classical music, then we'll know we have audio. Nope. God, I'm going to just punch myself in the head. You can see the video. It's beautiful. It's lovely. But I can't. There's no point in a podcast of playing something that doesn't have actual audio in it.
Has the person who directed that ever turned up? I bet that's an interesting story about how that video was produced.
Yeah, I bet it was. I probably was Ridley Scott, right?
Maybe not.
No.
It depends on what year. It's like this year you could get Ridley Scott for just about anything. I'm not sure if you could have gotten him in 19...
Well, in 84 he did the 84 one. This one's from 87, so it's possible.
Okay, well, maybe
it's possible. I think he was already a big name by then. Oh well, you know what? I leave this as an exercise for the listener. You can go get the Knowledge Navigator video for yourself, and then I think that you'll see this quite a bit on CNN soon.
I'm sorry, I just noticed something about the shape of the Knowledge Navigator. Wouldn't it be funny if just to be Apple, they decided this is going to have the same profile as the side profile of the classic Macintosh? It's going to have a notch cut in the upper corner.
Yeah, that would be very funny if it did. Was it? It must have been System 7. It's got Trash Can and an Apple 87. Now this is after Jobs left, though. This is a Scully production. I'm pretty sure it's that era. Scully was the guy who was so excited about PDAs, coined the term, promoted the Newton. This is roughly the same era as the Newton, isn't it?
I think so.
When did the Newton come out?
Did you have a Newton?
I have a Newton. Didn't I give you the Newton last time you were here to play with? Oh, that was Dvorak. Well, I'm bringing this on Wednesday.
Oh yeah,
because we got to have
compare it side by side.
Well, we got to have a passing the torch.
Yes.
Yep, I had my.
You all remember the last Apple slate?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's funny because there's a video of me in about '95 talking about the future of computing, and I had this, and I held it up, and I said, "What's going to happen is this is going to be smaller, and it's going to be always connected to the internet." So, I guess.
What did you know?
What did I know? I knew something.
Yep, I have both of my Newtons upstairs.
Do you?
I never had one.
It's a demonstration of how well Apple does things. I'm amazed that if I put fresh AA batteries inside either one of those Newtons, it comes up. Not only does it work, but it comes up with all the information I had in it 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It was fun for me to go back through contacts from 90s, whatever it is.
Exactly. That person crossed me.
What is that interface?
Oh, actually, I screwed that one pretty badly. That person crossed me.
There's two PC card slots on it. So the memory was provided by PC card. There is somewhere a track.
Where's the stylus?
Oh, it's in there somewhere. Oh, here, give me. I'll show you.
I pushed it, and I think I got it.
No, that's the PC card eject button.
That's why I didn't push it again.
Stylus is right here.
I was like, it's probably something I shouldn't push again.
Yeah. Don't push that again because that's all right. That's just memory. Applications came on PC card and storage came on PC card. All right, we're going to take a break. Come back with your picks of the week, gentlemen. So stop playing with the Newton. He's making the beep boop sounds. The Newton has a very distinctive sound palette. A lot of blip, blip,
boop. Every time you throw something away on the Mac.
Same thing.
You're seeing the last gasps of the Newton technology.
Audio. That the paper balls up. But again, this is an example of having the engineering facilities, having the minds, having everything Apple has minus Steve Jobs, and that's what you get as a Newton. Seriously, right there. That's the perfect. In many ways,
the thing is, it's features without functionality.
Tech is great in this.
Right.
Look at this. This is a modem card, so the little modem.
I thought that was a tiny coffee mug.
Yeah. Modem. No, I mean, the tech in this is so cool.
There's no form.
The form factor is like for an elephant.
Well, remember the first one. The first one was smaller, at least.
Oh, is this? This is the 2000.
That's the 2000. The first one was. You could ease. I don't know. I'm not sure if you could actually fit into a shirt pocket. It was frustratingly just too big, just slightly too big for a shirt pocket. It was almost big enough for a jacket pocket. It would fit into a lot of jacket pockets, but not many.
Right. Had infrared. Didn't come with connectivity, but you, as I did, you could buy a modem card.
Yeah. Also notice I was thinking about this the other day because I'm preparing things I'm going to be talking about and writing about in a couple of weeks. That the Newton development platform actually came with ebook technology built into it.
Really?
It's had its own, because I used to convert a couple of internet mail lists that I liked, like Aaron Barnhart's late night TV newsletter that came out every couple of weeks. It was very, very easy to take a text file, apply markup language to it, and package it as a book that could then be read on the Newton, just with page turns and not graphical effects, but just formatted as ebook technology. So I think it's part of the cultural heritage in the Apple to think about how does this impact future media decisions.
Right. Well, one thing we know, Steve doesn't like the stylus, and I think that's, of course, at the time this was created, this probably was the only way you could do it. You had to have a stylus, right?
Yeah. Well, plus I actually have an original composition by Master Fantasy writer Neil Gaiman on my Newton, because I had him sign my Newton. I forgot to take it off of handwriting recognition mode. And so he signed it, and then it turned into text, and he signed it again, and it turned into more text. And he got fascinated by what it was doing, saying, this is like consulting the Oracle at Delphi. So it's and when you read it, it actually reads almost like a Lewis Carroll nonsense poem.
That's so cool.
So I'm very proud of the fact that I own something that he has written that he doesn't have any idea about. There's a collaboration between himself and technology. I've always thought about one day sealing it up inside an envelope, like mailing it off to him and saying, you can auction this off for any of your charities. No, a Neil Gaiman manuscript that even you don't know anything about.
Wow, is that cool?
Anyway.
I wonder if I could set the date for 2010. Do you think this has the Y2 2010 problem.
Oh, we all thought we'd be dead by then.
It thinks it's 1996. But
greetings, Dolphin Overlord. Thank you for continuing to use our device.
Look at this. It's going to take me a while to get to 1997, 90. Oh, forget it. I'll stay with 1996. How fun. I love the sounds on this thing. It's just, just really cool.
Back to the good old days.
Calculator. Look at that. 1 plus.
Back then the Orange Line was elevated tracks all the way down Huntington Avenue. Want to go to Dorchester, take the L. That was before they put in the Silver Line.
Oh, what fun. Farm. I forgot how you turn the hand. Oh, I did it. Look at that. Handwriting recognition. It worked. All right. Let's get our picks of the week. Before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to mention our friends at Audible.com, the great place to go to get your audiobooks. Many audiobooks. I think the last count, 70,000 audiobooks of all kinds. And I think one of the things that I love about Audible.com is I don't have to plan ahead. I'm a very last-minute Leo. So I'm about to go on a flight, going to, let's say, Vegas for CES, and think, I don't have anything to read. So I go to Audible.com, and I pick a book, and within a minute or two, I've got it downloaded. It's on my iPhone, my iPod, my Kindle. No, it is not on my Nexus One.
Not that you're bitter.
Not that I'm bitter. No, actually, Audible tells me they're working on it. They will have a Nexus, an Android application for Audible sometime in the next few months. So that's the good news. But do check if you have a device, an oddball device. If you don't, do check and make sure. It does support devices from a lot of manufacturers, including iRiver, Creative, Insignia, Microsoft, the Zune and everything, RCA, Samsung, and, of course, all the Apple devices. If you go there right now, you can get a book free. Go to audible.com/MacBreak. Browse around. You'll see some wonderful choices. Andy, you got I like this one. The Improbable Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I just like the name. So sometimes that's what you end up getting a book because of that, right? This is a modern short story collection featuring Sherlock Holmes. Wow. Stephen King, one of them. Neil Gaiman. Anthony Burgess. Wow, I might have to get this. But, Andy, I'm sure you have a recommendation that's more suitable.
Yes. This is one of my favorite novels of the past, I think, 5 years. It was one of those books where I couldn't keep it in the house because I kept giving it to friends and then buying the copy for myself. It's like, you haven't read this? Oh, God, I have to send you this book. And then, oh, damn, I have to buy another copy for myself. I think I must have bought 4 copies for friends. It's a novel by Craig Clevenger called The Contortionist's Handbook. And it is so cleverly constructed. It's told in the first person. This is definitely a story where I can't tell you too much about it because part of the charm of it is just watching it unfold and being confused and wondering where the hell this guy's going with this story and wondering if he really did know where he was going. The basic premise of the story, it's a first-person story. Somebody has been picked up by the cops and he is getting a psych evaluation. Again, it's totally first person. And so as the reader, you're wondering, okay, is he crazy? And then you notice that in the narration, he's talking about how he's okay. He's probably going to lead off with this sort of a question. Yes. Okay. If he asks me this question next, then I know he hasn't done this very long. And so I can probably walk him towards this conclusion. And you're trying to figure out, why is he taking this attitude? Is he crazy, or has he been to the psychiatric system so often and he's so crazy that he just knows exactly what the drill is, or is there something else going on, or the story just unfolds as he tells this narration about being interrogated not by the police but by a couple of different psychiatrists who are just evaluating him to try to figure out, should we let this guy go, or should we give him like a mandatory 72-hour psychiatric lockdown. I don't want to talk any more about it. This is one of those. It seems like every few months there are a bunch of novels that I just keep typing into audible.com to see, has this become an audiobook yet? And I just yesterday, when I was figuring out what I'm going to recommend today, just happened to plug that in and say, yes, it got released 3 weeks ago. So totally going to recommend this the next day. Great stuff. There are books and movies like that where they so bust out of any genre you're familiar with and any sort of pat storytelling you're familiar with, that you're totally lost. You don't know what the beginning and the middle and the end is. You don't know who the hero is. You don't know who you should be rooting for, or whether it will resolve at the end. And this is exactly that sort of thing. You'll be pausing this at some points in the car or on the plane and say, what the hell is going on here? But in a pleasant way.
I can't wait. This sounds fantastic. The Contortionist's Handbook, a novel by Craig Clevenger. You can get this free now. All you have to do is go to audible.com/MacBreak. What you'll be doing is signing up for the Gold account, which gives you a book a month. And your first one's free. You can cancel it anytime. You get to keep the book, of course. So what a great deal. Craig Clevenger. I got to read this. It sounds really interesting. I'm glad you recommended it, Andy. I've never heard of it.
It's probably going to be doubly interesting as an audiobook where you hear this guy's voice narrating inside your head. So
I'm reading the synopsis. Maybe I shouldn't read the synopsis, huh? Just buy it. I'm gonna add that to my my wish list. One of the things they do that's really nice is you get to maintain a wish list.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your Netflix queue or whatever. And so I've got my credits are going to queue up on the 22nd in 3 days. And I've already got these Daniel Suarez novels queued up that Tom Merritt recommended. But then I shall be listening to the Contortionist's Handbook. I love it. Audible.com/MacBreak. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our picks of the week. I don't know if we've ever picked this. I'm going to mention it again because it's free, and I found it really useful the other day when I was filling out forms. A lot of times nowadays, you get these forms as PDFs on the internet. And what I have been doing is exporting it to Photoshop, editing it with Photoshop, and then printing it to fill out the form. I found a really great program that makes it much easier to do. It's absolutely free. In fact, it's a Google project called, it's on Google Code. It's not by Google, called Formulate Pro. Version 6.06 just came out. Actually, 0.6 just came out. It is free. What it does is you open your PDF in Formulate Pro. It's got text you can overlay. It's got it's like a stamp with an X, so you can check boxes. You get it all, and then you just print it and save it out as a PDF, and you've got your PDF form, and you can suitable for mailing or faxing.
It's standalone.
It's a standalone application. It's not online. There are commercial programs that do this.
Yeah, I use Acrobat to do that. I have like my digital signature.
How much did you pay for Acrobat?
Well, it's part of my
$300
production bundle.
Oh yeah.
So
it came with all of that. No, Formulate Pro is free, and if you don't have Acrobat or another similar program.
And by the way, when we say Acrobat Professional,
not the reader.
Not the reader. The reader won't do it.
Right. I just love this program. It's a great. No, it won't. Okay. No, it won't. People can make a form.
You can fill out forms.
People can make it a PDF as a form, but they never do. And the kinds of things I'm filling out, like soccer forms, these guys don't know. They just made a PDF and they put it online. Even the IRS forms.
The IRS forms are
Can you fill those out?
They have versions of PDFs that the government actually uses PDF a lot harder than everyone else, and that's the reason the PDF reader is free is because of government deals where they had to have a free reader that they could produce stuff for, and so a lot of those features are actually more driven by the IRS and driven by government agencies than anybody else.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of the internal format. So they do a lot with it that's pretty aggressive. I know with Acrobat.
So you can download the PDF and it's fillable.
Mm-hmm. It's actually really nice. You can also what I do with Acrobat, and this one I'm going to definitely check out. What I do with Acrobat is if someone sends me a form, they have a form creator, so it just looks at it and just goes and just fills out the whole thing.
Right. Very cool. Well, if you're stuck with PDFs, as I often am, that I can't fill it out. I can't fill it out. You just save it, and you open it in Formulate Pro.
It's great.
And now you've got all the stuff that you need to fill it out, which is couldn't be more handy.
That's a must-have.
Yeah, it is. And considering it's free, I think it's an absolutely great must-have. Let me see if I can open this. Any PDF in it, and you can see. Well, I won't belabor it, but if you've been opening them in preview and you can't fill out the form, Formulate Pro free. Zero, Alexis. Alex, what's your pick of the week?
So we do a lot of screen captures.
Screen captures.
We do a lot of screen captures, and we use a lot of different applications. So we use iShowU, we use Snaps Pro. On the PC side, we use Camtasia. And they sent me something to test, which it took me a little time to get around to, which is Camtasia for the Mac. And I have to say, and we also have used ScreenFlow in the past, but I have to say that I am really
better than Snapz.
Yeah, Snaps. The issue with Snaps is here's the problem. If you're capturing one thing, it's fine. But one of the problems that we've had is we have to capture sometimes 20 episodes in a day or 16 episodes in a day, waiting for it to write.
Right. That was really a pain. I remember we had to do that.
And we've talked to them about it, and we've gone, this is something that doesn't really work for us. So Snaps is the most light on the operating system.
Aha.
So if we have something that's like I show you is having trouble with,
right?
We know that Snaps is probably going to work better than. But here's the thing about Camtasia is Camtasia records a impossibly small file. Like we don't even know how it works. Like when we first started recording on the PC, things that in I show you are going to be 1.8 gigs or 2 gigs.
There is an Apple screen record format that's very compact, and I wonder if they're using it and these other guys aren't.
Well, TechSmith has their own.
Yeah,
they have their own internal one that they've created that they're recording into, and it is impossibly small. I mean, it's so efficient because these guys have been doing screen captures longer than anyone else. Now, it was always on the PC side.
Right.
And it is just now it allows you to record your camera and integrate it. It's got a little editing thing like ScreenFlow.
I love ScreenFlow.
You can do zoom in, zoom outs. You can export in different formats. But what's great is that you can really you can save all these out real quickly. So you can do one project after another and not worry about converting them into your final video format until later, which for us is important.
Can you do now? I'm looking at the video on their site, which has this kind of 3D screen with a guy embedded on it. Is this the kind of thing you can do with Camtasia?
I'm not sure. I haven't tried to do that.
It's pretty cool.
It is, and I'm not sure whether I'm sure that you would be able to do something like that. I haven't tried to do that, but it is. I think actually that is being done inside of Camtasia.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah,
I would imagine it is if they're showing.
And here's the other thing is that usually when people move from the PC to the Mac, you end up with this kind of PC interface. And the one thing I have to say is that working with it is very Mac-like.
That's nice.
It feels that the fit and finish of it is really.
It's a deal right now. I mean, this is an expensive product on the PC. I think it's $300 on the PC.
Yes, it's $99.
That's a good deal.
It's $149. It's going to be $149. It's $99 right now because they're launching it and trying to get people to use it.
They've been working on this for at least a year. I remember they started talking about this at least a year ago.
And it really it's definitely you definitely want to go if you're doing screen captures. Definitely download at least the trial. See how it compares to the other screen captures. See if it solves it.
Oh, I'm kind of liking this. This might replace ScreenFlow.
It's really nice.
Wow. So you can embed this video and then have a nice picture.
And you can bring other content in.
It's got a timeline.
It's got a little timeline.
Oh, this is sweet.
And ScreenFlow has some of that too, but the files that come out of this thing are just tiny.
You mean the distributable files?
The ones that it records when it records project files.
But you would then have to make it.
Then you recompress, but that's fine for us. Like we can do that in the background. What we want, what our problem is in the foreground, we want it to not take up a lot of space on our laptop.
So you can do stuff
like with this. With I show you, I have to make sure that I have it's going to record in that final format or in a format there. With this, I know that I can record on my laptop with not very much space left on my drive, knowing that down the road I'll get that sorted out.
And so here they are actually creating the effect that you see in the video, including the mirror.
Right.
Which is a beautiful
and they're really taking advantage of a lot of the Apple.
Look at that. That is just gorgeous. Oh, I'm going to buy this right now.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is really awesome. So it's from techsmith.com. It's techsmith.com/Camtasia Mac.
Yeah.
It is $99 if you buy it right now. There is a free trial, which you probably should try before you buy. Just make sure it works on your Mac.
Right.
Because I imagine it does use some resources.
Yeah, but it's... I'm really impressed with it. I think it's definitely worth downloading.
This is awesome. I've been waiting for this to come out. I'm thrilled. Yeah. That's great. And now, Mr. Andy Ihnatko, it's your pick of the week, sir.
Well, this is one of those timely picks. Given that, not timely because we're not going to have a tablet next week, but we're talking about stands and stuff or things like that. There's something I got just last week that I was actually quite pleased with, and this is from Matthias. They call it the iRiser. I've got it on the super top secret prototype Apple tablet right now. And you're thinking, okay, well, fine. It's a stand for your laptop that will allow you to, if a lot of people bring their laptops along or put it on their desk, they like to use it behind a keyboard. And while they've got it on top of a desk, they like to just use it as though it's an iMac. And of course, it'll keep some air. between the bottom of the thing and the bottom, so it'll keep it nice and clean. What I like about this, though, is it has two really cool features. Number one, first and foremost, it folds absolutely flat. What you can do is you can take this. It's just two pieces of plastic like this that slide together, and that's what you pack.
Wow, that's cool.
Inside your bag. And so it's nice trim. Believe it or not, this is like very, very hard plastic, so it's not going to really bend on you. Also, it's adjustable. They have different sized beveled cutouts for that plastic blade. So if you want it to be just a little bit of elevation, you can do it. You can slide inside one slot and do it that way. If you want maximum elevation, like as if it were an ebook or a tablet, you can slide it in another one of these slots and have it that way. So I've used a number of different solutions for I'm the sort of person who, when I'm traveling, if I'm doing 3 hours worth of work in the hotel room, I will be set up on the hotel desk. But your basic, I've been walking around a conference for about 3 hours now. I just want to lie down in bed. I'll have the damn thing just sitting next to me, like on that big king size bed. And so I need to carry something with me that will let me get some air between my notebook and that nice thick 8-inch thick down comforter. And so I've been looking for things that are just easy to pack. The things that I've had before then, they have a molded in lip or something like this.
I need that for my underwear. I need like a little eye riser.
Yeah, it's a very nice little solution. It's well made. It's again, it's from Matthias. The list is about $40, but you can buy it online for about $20-25. So it's not too bad.
Very good. My second pick of the week is kind of timely pick, and I want to mention this now because, of course, we all know about the crisis in Haiti, and some good folks have gotten together to create. Second Gear and Garrett Murray has created the webpage called IndieRelief.com, INDIE relief.com, and a great number of Mac Shareware products are donating their proceeds on January 20th to Haitian Relief. So if you're in the market for, and many of these are products we've recommended as picks of the week on MacBreak Weekly, about half of them, I would say. If you've been in the market for some great shareware and you want to support the relief efforts going on in Haiti, this is a chance for you to buy those on the 20th. And
I think we really have recommended half of those.
You recognize a lot of them. These are it's really the cream of the Mac Shareware world has gotten together to do this and donate all proceeds, including Tweety, Twitterific, TwitterLater Pro, a lot of iPhone software, X Slimmer, Pucka, Things. I could just go on and on. This is a great place. INDIERelief.com, and the proceeds on January 20th go to Haiti. You can see who the donation will go to. Each of the people, like for instance, Acorn Flying Meat is donating to Doctors Without Borders. Some are donating to Red Cross. Some to DEC Earthquake Appeal and so forth. So you can see as you donate which charity this will go to. I hope I learned something interesting. I've donated now a considerable amount of money to Haitian Relief, as I'm sure many of you have. And I was just reading an article saying that it's really important not to earmark it for Haitian Relief if you do it. Because, for example, Médecins Sans Frontières, the Doctors Without Borders, have a lot of money for Haitian Relief, but they have many, many other efforts. They've been in Haiti for 8 or 9 years. They have many, many other efforts which are going broke. And if you earmark it for Haitian Relief, they can't kind of ethically spend it for anything else. What they'd like to do is have it the money unallocated and use it as needed, whether it's Haitian Relief or many of these other places. So much money is pouring into Haiti at this point.
One of the challenges for a lot of nonprofits that are doing various levels of relief efforts around the world is that when something like this happens, of course, there's a lot of people that react quickly and send their money in and make sure that it makes a difference.
And then the rest of the time,
well, the problem is it affects everybody else because they're like, well, I gave to them, and now, and then they give less to something else, and and those other problems are still happening.
I kind of I took some of the money that people have been donating to the PayPal account for my salary and gave $500 to the Red Cross and $500 to Save the Children. But you'll notice when you go to the Red Cross site and you click Donate Now, you can earmark it for Haiti, but you can also, you can say it's for Haitian Relief and Development, but you can also give it to a more general international response fund. I chose where the need is greatest, and I think that's probably a good idea because they will allocate it as needed.
I think it's pretty amazing that that you can. I just while we were talking, just donated to the Red Cross from iTunes.
Yeah,
on the front page of iTunes.
Yep, isn't that great? The tech community's just really jumped into this, and I think that's wonderful.
$22 million was raised just through the text messaging.
Text message. Yeah, I did that as well.
Yeah.
But then I liked a little bit more the control I was able to, kind of assert on the website.
I've been spreading it around. I'm just experimenting with all the different ways that you can give.
Yeah, spread it around.
Yeah, just
we'll
figure it out. Which ones are working, which ones are the easiest.
Right. But Indie Relief, what a good way to get a great piece of software and support relief in Haiti. INDIERELIEF.com or Google Indie Plus Relief, and you'll find it. So that's our MacBreak Weekly, our last episode before the world changes forever. Completely, entirely, the world we know it will no longer be the same.
So it's
been good to know you.
Unfortunately, we have to resort back to fact-based journalism.
I hate that when that happens. No more rumors for at least...
I got one more week to live it up.
At least until we get the iPhone rumors, and then we can start up again.
It's going to be crazy because it is going to be 2 months of just insanity.
As we speculate about this device, which we don't have.
I mean, yeah. Well, and I think that, of course, then there'll be the lines. The lines.
Oh, no, yeah. I got to order it right away. I'm just going to go right online and order it.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll get the top of the line, right?
We'll get in the line, too.
We'll get the $1,000 one. Come on, you know you want to.
I'm waiting. I'm just going to wait for the store as soon as
Our
it pops
coverage
up.
begins January 27th at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern. That is 2,700. No. 9 plus 8 is 1,700 UTC.
Zulu.
Zulu time. Live.twit.tv. We will be covering it live. Alex Lindsay in the anchor chair. Andy and I will be at the event. We'll be reporting outside the event and then going in and coming out and telling you our impressions. We'll also be, I'm sure, sending photos and tweeting and chatting and whatever it is we can do to get that information out. But we will have live, basically obsessive coverage of this announcement.
Obsessive Mac coverage.
Yeah, that's our job. Yeah. Obsessive Mac coverage all day Wednesday, the 27th, a week from today. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Are you ready? Fasten your seatbelts. The Slate era is about to begin. Now get back to work. Break time's over.